Hello everyone, we are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And today we are going to talk Batman!
Batman.
No. We're not speaking the language of the language where the only word is Batman.
I thought I was turning into a pug for a second.
Today we are going to do a little celebration of Batman's 75th anniversary here on Geeks Not Nerds by doing a little bit of an interview. Vince and I are going to go back and forth and ask each other some
deep, hard-hitting questions.
About our Batman fandoms, and I'm doing another Batman video which should be up by now, also on for the 75th anniversary. Kind of just my own little thing, showing off some pieces of my collection. But I thought it would be fun if we actually did a discussion thing and really talked about Batman a little bit too. And so I wanted to make sure that Vince got to be in on the whole 75th anniversary of Batman thing. Vince, can you believe that Batman is 75 years old?
Man, that guy should probably stop fighting crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting up there in years. He can break stuff.
I got a feeling I got a feeling that he's in a place right now, Vince, where his skeleton is barely held together with like metal pieces, and he's like partially kind of robotic now, and he's sending out a whole bunch of like robot droid things to do all of his work for him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's probably going on. I think I read that in a book somewhere.
Yeah, it could be, or he's just a few years away from killing the Joker and Superman or whatever, beating him up.
That's true.
It's been a long time since I've read that.
Yeah,
You're like it shows.
We're just this far in, and Vince managed to mention a Frank Miller thing without making fun of Frank Miller, which is amazing.
Oh man, I got to think of something terrible to say about that guy.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured that this was just one of those places where you felt like you had to temper it a little bit because, like,
yeah.
You know, it's a Batman special, and we got to
see. I don't hate Frank Miller. I just hate most things Frank Miller does.
I know, but I very rarely heard you say anything nice about Frank Miller.
Year One was
say
good.
Something nice about Frank. Okay, you've done it.
I really liked Year One.
I really like Year One too. I seem to like more Frank Miller than you, but I still also am not like a giant Frank Miller fan.
The Frank Miller Daredevil was okay.
Well, yes, I'm actually in love with that run, but I don't know. I don't like him as much on Batman, but
yeah, I think Frank Miller's Daredevil is good.
But I like Dark Knight Returns.
But I think Frank Miller is more important to the medium than his stuff is good. So I think he's very important.
Is that one of your questions? Do you have a Frank Miller question?
No. Oh, I could have made you rag on Frank Miller. Like, what Frank Miller thing do you hate the most? I'm kidding.
I almost asked you a Frank Miller question, but I felt like it was kind of moot because I feel like we've done this. I feel like we've been here and done this.
I like taking pot shots at Frank Miller, but I do actually enjoy some Frank Miller stuff, so take that as you will.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Oh, except that I'm not as on about it as Vince. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that. Let's go ahead and go through our questions. Vince and I each came up with 7 questions because 7 is a number in the number 75. We decided not to do 75 questions because we didn't have 24 hours to do this. We didn't want to make this a Kiefer Sutherland show, so I
would have gotten down to stupid questions like, what's your favorite half of Two-Face?
I like the left half.
I like the right half.
Really? Will you put us together? Okay, Vince, would you like to start? Would you like to ask your first question?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to ask each other Batman questions now, and this is all related to our Batman fandoms. And I don't know Vince's questions, he doesn't know mine, but I do know mine questions because I wrote them, and I consulted with myself before the show. Go ahead, Vince.
I'm going to start at the top. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. Very easy question, potentially.
Okay.
Who is your favorite Batman villain?
Bruce Wayne. Oh.
Bruce Wayne is my favorite Batman villain.
My favorite Batman villain?
Your favorite Batman's You only have a couple choices.
No. I try to interrupt you after the phrase "who is." Who is Bruce Wayne?
Who is your favorite Dick Grayson?
Robin.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. Your favorite Batman villain is fill in the blank.
Well, with Dick Grayson, there's just not a lot of different actors you really have to pull from. It's kind of a toss-up because, you know, I have a lot of villains that I like, but these days, more and more, it's the Riddler.
Yeah, I can see that.
I just love me some Riddler. I love Gorshin. I love. I guess I've talked about this a lot, but the thing about it is, I love a lot of different variations on the Riddler. Riddler is one of those characters where there are a few versions I don't like, and there are a lot of variations on it. There's a lot of different versions, but like I love Gorshin's. I like Jim Carrey's because he was kind of doing a Gorshin in a somewhat more serious thing. But then, so that's probably my favorite, just because I love that performance, and even though it's in a campy thing, sorry if I've said this 1,000 times, but I still think that Gorshin could have done the exact same performance in a serious thing with more serious dialogue, and it would have been fantastic. I've always thought that. Just the manicness of it. He's scary, with what he does with his eyes. I love it. But I really like the animated series version.
John Glover.
I really like the
my favorite.
more modern Arkham Asylum version that Wally Wingert is doing. I really like that version. It's a little bit more maniacal and a little bit more scary. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I love I love that he's a character that can actually match wits with Batman, and I love egomaniac villains that always beat themselves, anyway, so yeah, it's the Riddler, but of course there's a lot of other villains I really, really love, and obviously everybody loves the Joker, but everybody has their versions of that character that they like the most. Who's yours, Vince?
Is that on your list?
No, it's not. But I thought I'd ask you just real quick. Is it still Two-Face?
I guess I'll have to say Two-Face.
Two-Face,
yeah. I just think
he's
it's
one I like a
interesting.
lot too.
I feel like he's one of the. Excuse me while I scratch my nose. I feel like he's one of the most inappropriately used Batman villains. I think the aesthetic is interesting. I think the background is super interesting. I just don't think Two-Face as a villain is particularly interesting. I've seen them do really interesting things with Two-Face. I just kind of wish.
Well, that's fascinating. So are you saying that's a character where the origin is always the best place?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think the origin's the best thing about Two-Face. That's what got me into it.
Well, I think we both have the same problem with our favorites, that there aren't a lot of great Two-Face stories, and there aren't a lot of great Riddler stories. But the character himself, I really like, But boy, I love what Snyder's doing with the Riddler right now, and you've got to read Zero Year, because it's really, really cool. Yeah.
I need to read Two-Face Year One, as a matter of fact. But,
I haven't read that either.
I don't know. It's only 2 issues. You'd think I'd pick it up, but...
You think you'd have time. It doesn't...
As it turns out...
2 issues.
I get it.
Okay, Vince, I'm going to ask you a question now. What is your favorite animated Batman movie?
That's... the good one.
The good one? No, that's not fair. There's several.
Well...
That's not fair.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Broaden your mind!
And I'll say this. I suppose the one that I like the style of the most, the one that, I'll say this, the one that I enjoyed the most, not to say it's the best one out of the group, was probably Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
And that one was just the most pleasing to me. I could sit there and watch that. I could sit there and watch that doing other things. I could sit there and watch it focusing just on it. I think it's a really entertaining movie, and I picked up a 3-pack at one point that had Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and Batman Sub-Zero, because it was in the 3-pack.
You don't seem to be able to get Mask of the Phantasm without Sub-Zero. Have you noticed that?
Sometimes they have to get rid of their other discs.
Well, a lot of time it's a double disc. It's like one's on the other side.
And, there are movies that I don't dislike. There are movies that I think are okay. Like, I think Under the Red Hood was good. And there's a lot of stuff out there that I think is okay.
Just okay, yeah.
But there's nothing.
Have you seen Dark Knight Returns yet?
No, I've not.
Do it, because it is really good.
As a matter of fact, I haven't seen Year One either.
Oh, have you not? Okay.
But,
we should watch it together, because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I bought the disc that has both parts together as one movie. So come over and we'll make popcorn and watch that, because that would be really fun. Yeah.
There, for all of my fellow Batman fans out there that are upset with me because I always take pot shots at Frank Miller, I am interested in watching that.
Okay.
I kind of got to know.
Can I have a question?
Sure. Oh, you mean from here? I was like, yeah, go get one. Alrighty. What first introduced you to Batman?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad.
And what did he use? Was it the movie?
Is every one of your questions going to be something that I've said 1,000 times on a video?
Maybe. I forget.
The thing is, some of the time, these have been things that Vince has maybe not watched or doesn't remember, because, this actually is a story that I told in my 89 Rewind. Years ago, I did that.
I did watch that.
Well, that's cool. I just thought I'd because recently. Okay, so recently I did an interview for Blue Dragon 5's channel, and so far both the questions you've asked were things I had to answer there. But anyway, in case you don't see that.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not telling you your questions are bad. That's not what I'm saying. Vince, my dad brought home this is what I remember as being my introduction to Batman. Now this is, and interestingly, I think it's also my earliest memory, like, of anything. Like, I think Batman might be my earliest memory, or at least one of them. So my dad brought home. Although no, that's not fair. That's not true, because '89 I would have been 5. I have memories from before 5, but they're a lot more vague than this one. This is vivid.
My earliest memory, I was in a very dark place with a rope attached to my stomach. Anyway, go ahead.
So my dad brings home a Batman shirt for me, and '89 had just come out, and it's the symbol from that movie. And I always, by the way, loved how that movie was advertised on just that symbol. You didn't have to use the word, or you knew what that was. And it's my favorite version of the bat symbol. That will never change. I love it. And my first introduction to Batman was just that symbol, and it's bold, and it's
brave.
yeah. Shut up, Vince. It's such a vivid image that kind of just got emblazoned on my brain. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted to know more about it, you know. And then the '89 movie. So pretty much '89 was my introduction to Batman. But then everything else real fast around it. So when I was a kid, I saw all the different Batmans as kind of the same thing. Like, I didn't really separate them that much. I didn't really see much of a difference when I was really little between the darker stuff and the campy stuff. It was all Batman to me, and I took it very seriously. Like the '60s show, they'd get in a death trap, and I'd be worried for them. You know what I mean? Like, I took that stuff really seriously. I guess it was just in the context of that world. It was kind of it was kind of absurd, but sort of creepy when you're 5, you know. And so I thought that people were actually in mortal danger, and that it was darker than it was, you know. So anyway, that was my whole introduction to Batman.
All right.
Do you know what yours is?
I have no idea. I'm guessing it was probably the animated series.
Yeah?
But I don't know. Actually, you know what? It might have been '60s Batman. And I just never really made the connection when I was younger that that's what it was. That '60s Batman was connected in some way to the animated series Batman, or to Batman.
Because I know your mom was really into a lot of '60s TV, so she might have shown you some of that stuff.
I think I saw it. I just think I assumed it was a completely different thing.
Okay, here's my next question for you, Vince. If you, and you know, sometimes answering each other's questions can be kind of fun. So I'll if you don't mind, real quick, when I was asking you about animated movies, mine really is still Mask of the Phantasm. That's never really gotten beat for me, just because I think it's a really good story, it's a really good character piece. But and was my favorite Batman. Well, I'm not sure. Origins, it's kind of a Batman origin. I like or at least it's a piece of it, you know. So that was my favorite story that dealt with the origin until we got to Begins, but they're dealing with kind of different parts of that. Mm-hmm. So you know, because Mask of the Phantasm is when he gets back, and Batman Begins is when he leaves in the first place. So so they're not even really, you know, fighting each other for the period of time that they're dealing with. If you could play a Batman villain, who would it be?
All right. As I am now.
Yes.
Okay. I would play... I gotta have somebody that is maybe a little goofy, maybe a little fun, but I would have a hard time. You know, I would like to play Clayface.
Yeah?
I would like to play Clayface.
That'd be cool. I could totally see that with you, yeah.
Because, you know, I don't feel like I have one distinct personality that has to go through. I feel like the only problem is that Clayface is like this traditionally handsome dude prior to being Clayface.
Are all the different versions of Clayface like that, though? Because
there's only one that I've seen that's different to that, which is... Well, I take that back, because they did have those, the Norm Brayfogle
Was Basil Karlo a pretty boy, though?
In well, the one in the animated series was I don't know his actual name.
That's a different one though.
That's the one I know.
Why can't I think of his name right now? It'll come to me. But Matt Hagen.
Yeah.
Matt Hagen, yeah. The one they're using right now, they've gone back to Basil Carlo, and I don't know that he was at least in the current 52 iteration. I don't think he was a pretty boy, but I'm just saying that I think you could do a Clayface that was a famous actor, or even a version that like fancied himself a famous actor, but didn't go very far. There's lots of different ways to do this, so I don't think you'd have to be a pretty boy, man. So like considering that you really fancy yourself an actor, like I think that's a great fit for you. I would have never thought of that.
I like the idea of being Clayface. I like that idea. Also, let's see. There's got to be something that I could do. There's got to be somebody else. I feel like being I don't feel like I'd be a good Two-Face. I don't feel like I'd be a good Joker. I don't feel like I'd be a good Riddler. I don't feel like I'd be a good those major Batman staples.
Well, a lot of them are kind of like scrawny guys who'd make up for it with some kind of like personality quirks or brilliance or something, right? Like Two-Face isn't scrawny, but he's not your build.
Yeah, I mean, Two-Face, he's a lawyer. I mean, I suppose he could be any build that you wanted to make him, but he probably wouldn't be stocky.
Yeah, probably not stocky. Vince, I could see you playing one of the mob bosses.
I would like that. I've always kind of dug mob bosses.
Maybe a Carmine Falcone or...
I mean, I feel like, you give me about 10 years and I could totally do that. Because, I've always assumed that for a mob boss... Yeah.
Yeah.
For a mob boss, you'd have to be kind of older because then people follow you around. I mean, unless you're a younger mob boss who's just, developing some kind of territory.
And mobs are usually a family generational thing, so a lot of the time they're older and they have kids that they're bringing up into the business. Like, how many mob bosses have you seen that don't have teenage or older sons? They almost always do.
Yeah, that's true.
And
who would you play?
Oh, who would I play? Well... the Riddler. And not just because he's my favorite, but because I think I've got the.
You
right
do have that build, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I have that kind of energy and stuff. Like I always thought I could probably do that. I could maybe get away with somebody like Mad Hatter, something like that. But I'd have to play somebody short. So I don't think I could do like as much as I love Clock King, I don't think I could do a Clock King. He's just too tall, and also he'd have to be older too. Like Clock King, I always see as being in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, that's fair. Or even 60s. I
can
see Clock King being there.
So I don't know. Maybe if I wanted to get my head in a really twisted place, I could maybe do Zaz.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
Something like that, because I could. I could do the kind of lanky thing, but I am short, so I don't know.
I also kind of like to play Killer Croc, but
yeah,
I feel like Killer Croc needs to be even bigger than me. So,
well, what's your next question for me, Vince?
My next question for you is very serious question.
This is fun.
What is the worst day to get rid of a bomb?
Well, it's a day where you're on a pier and there's some ducks and there's a nun. And there's a marching band, Vince. That's the no. Well, there's no good day to get rid of a bomb, Vince. So yeah, is that a serious question?
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Did you really write that?
No joke.
That is a non-question. No, I believe you. I
do. I have an answer for it.
That is a non. Okay, what?
Dark Knight Rises.
Wait, why do you say that?
Because he has to kill himself to get rid of the bomb.
But he doesn't actually
I know
die.
He doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't have thought of that. No, that's actually, I don't know. I mean,
I thought that was funny.
It seemed like as good of a day as any,
I just wanted to give you a kick.
It seems like the best day to get rid of a bomb would be the day that it's ticking down and it's going to kill a bunch of people. So yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, he managed to
the day after the last day of Dark Knight Rises.
On that. Yeah.
That'd be the worst day to get rid of the bomb.
Okay. Vince, why? Your favorite Batmobile or Bat vehicle?
Oh, I don't know what year it's from, but I really like that old. What do you call it? I guess I want to like Studebaker. That really crazy looking one with the big bat shield on the front.
Yeah, the
I guess not crazy, but classic. Really,
it's one
classic
of the earliest ones. Yeah, you're talking like the late 50s.
Yeah, and they're making a version of it that's coming out with that Batmobile subscription thing that they're doing.
Memorabilia thing, yeah. Or the Automobilia thing, which, by the way, I'm very seriously considering doing.
Fair enough.
I'm still thinking about it. It's $40 a month, but I don't know if I can help myself. It is cool.
That's the one. Also, I like the
80 cars.
TAS. I like that one.
80 cars.
Woof.
Yeah. It's
$40 a pop, right?
No, $20 a pop.
Oh, $20 a pop.
But
right.
it's $40 a month because they send you one every 2 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, I'm thinking about it.
80 cars. Good.
If I do that, I'll get some videos out of it and I'll show everybody.
Fair enough.
All the really cool. I mean, they've got these cool dioramas and yeah, it's neat. They're these cool 6-inchers and I mean like they get obscure. They're doing the car from the Batman live stage show. Like that's how obscure they get. Yeah, and like that Joker mobile from one of the I think it's a 50s comic, maybe a 40s comic.
Are they doing all of the versions of the Batmobile?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. Yeah, I mean there's certainly got to be more than 80, and they're not just doing Batmobiles. There's some other things in there too. Like they're doing the 60s Bat boat is in there.
Oh yeah.
I think the
armored Batmobile from the '89
from the '89 movie. Yeah, so I mean like there's a lot of different things. But the '89 Batwing is in there. There's a lot of things that aren't just Batmobile. I think the Bat from Dark Knight Rises is in there, and stuff like that. So anyway.
The Batwing's pretty cool.
Oh, it's my favorite flying Batman vehicle.
What's your favorite?
My favorite Batmobile is hands down the '89 car.
So cool.
My favorite vehicle overall actually might be the Batwing. I think the Batwing from that movie might actually beat out the car.
Aesthetically, that movie just kicks so much butt.
I know. Well, just
ridiculous.
The idea, it's so simple that it's genius. The idea of taking that symbol and turning it into something that flies.
That's why it's so cool.
And you kind of buy it. Like, it looks like it could fly. It looks aerodynamic. It looks like it could actually fly. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Okay, your turn.
Alrighty.
I hope it's not a non-question.
Here's another 60s question.
Okay, all right, cool.
What Bat character do you wish could have received the 60s TV treatment?
That we didn't get. Well, the obvious one is Two-Face. I mean, that's the big glaring one because Two-Face was already, of course, a big Batman character, and we never got to see him in the '60s show. And I think I've always heard rumor that there were plans for it for like maybe season 4, but it just never panned out, never happened.
Villain or not villain, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. The thing about it is, most of the characters that I would think of would be characters created after that. Most of the major Batman villains,
Bane.
Most of the major Batman, well, and like the '60s comic is gonna do Killer Croc. Like they're actually gonna take some characters that were created after the '60s show and do them, which is gonna be cool. But anyway, so it's hard for me to come up with characters that they didn't do already that existed that they could do. Like Clayface existed, but how? Like what?
Yeah.
What would he have been? And the thing about it is you already have Falseface, so like I don't know if it was just like kind of a disguise thing, what would be the point? It'd be sort of redundant. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, like they got obscure. Like they did Clock King in that show. I don't know if you know that, but there's a '60s Clock King, and that's not even a Batman character. Prior to that, he's mostly a Green Arrow villain. He started in Green Arrow. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of other characters. Like you know. I could do wishful thinking and think of characters that were created after that. You know,
sure, why not?
It could have been fun to have seen, say, a '60s version of the ventriloquist.
Yeah, that'd have been neat.
You know, that could have been cool. And then I'd love to see how you would pull off like really serious, scary characters in that sort of treatment. Like, how in the world would you do someone like Zaz? You couldn't do. Like, how would you do that? The '60s Batman version of Azrael. Imagine adapting Imagine adapting Nightfall to '60s Batman. Somebody should do that. Actually, that needs to happen. That sounds hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, Two-Face is the kind of the go-to answer there.
Me too.
Vince, if you could sit down and talk to anyone who has worked on Batman in any capacity, live or dead, who would it be? Like it could be comics, it could be screen, it could be a writer or an artist or an actor or anybody. One person. Who would it be?
Frank Miller.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Oh man.
But in all seriousness.
Actually, I wouldn't mind talking to Frank Miller, just see what he's like, see what it's up. I mean, because you can't just sit there and rail against something and not be curious. I mean, because, you can't hate someone you don't know. I don't actually hate the man. I mean, he's a person. Well, whatever.
Only when he's reading All Star.
I mean, there are certain.
Does he feel that way?
See, and that's kind of what it is. I would like to sit down and pick his brain and see what or why he thought some of the ideas in All Star were good ideas, and because it's a far. There it is. I mean, this is a far cry from some of the awesome Batman stuff we've had from him before.
Yeah.
Or at least some of the very good Batman stuff.
Is that really your answer though? Like Frank Miller?
Well, Frank Miller.
Are you gonna cop out on me, or is that really your answer?
That I think that might really be my answer, because I'm having a hard time.
You're just too curious.
I'm just too curious. I mean, there are other people that I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would like to talk to Bill Finger.
Yeah.
And see what's going on. It's considering he ripped off the Shadow. It, very vocally said that he based the first Batman story on a Shadow story, so there is inspiration out of that. I mean, and I'd also like to know, what his sentiments were, how he felt about being half creator of Batman, and then kind of
not getting near as much credit.
Yeah, and then being overshadowed by Kane.
Yeah.
And I mean, so Bill Finger would be interesting to chat with. I almost said Danny Fingeroff because. Bill Finger, Danny Finger. I was like, wait, that's not him. It's a different guy. There's got to be one that I'm thinking of. Somebody that was involved in doing it. Aaron Eckhart. Why not?
Aaron Eckhart. Yeah. My big one is Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
I'd love, because it's fun to listen to Jack Nicholson talk about Batman, because that's one of the roles he always goes back to, of what seemed like his favorite things to do, and he sees himself as the guy who was born to play that character, and I'd love to pick his brain about actually playing it, because there are some interviews with him on the DVDs for that movie, but you don't hear him talk very much about actually playing the part, and just specific stories about what it was like dealing with Tim Burton and stuff. There's a little bit, but I'd like a little bit more. And I'd also love to in fact, I wouldn't want to interview this person. I would want to take a writing workshop from this person. I would like to take a workshop from Greg Rucka, because if anybody could make you a better writer of that kind of fiction, it's Greg Rucka, and he has the best sense of prose for superhero that I've ever seen. Of course, he's a great comic book storyteller too, but No Man's Land is one of my favorite novels of all time, and I don't say that lightly. I don't mean Batman novels or comic book novels. I mean novels. His prose is astounding. Anyway, I'd love to talk to Greg Rucka.
I'd like to know, but I don't actually want to meet the man. Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, yeah.
I'd like to know, but I don't actually want to put myself in the position to know.
I think it's your turn, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. What piece of Batman memorabilia, existent or wishful thinking, would you most like to own?
I want a Batmobile. I mean, I want to drive around in a Batmobile. And it's one of those things where if you had that, your first instinct would be, put it in a garage and never take it anywhere, because you wouldn't want it to get messed up, but I would not be able to help myself. No, I'd love either a 60s car or an 89 car. But let's be real, if you could buy really any of them except for maybe the Batman and Robin car, which is just kind of a silly car, and I don't like how it bounces up and down. And I don't really I like the design of the Batman Forever car, but still it looks like if you put 5 balloons on the top of it, it would float away. The way it bounces up and down, it looks like you could pick it up with one hand.
That's pretty funny.
but anyway, that's a thing, and even if it wasn't a real one that they used, I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Even a Tumbler, although that would be impractical to drive around. But as far as memorabilia, things that actually exist, I'd love to have maybe a piece, if not an entire Batsuit, and it'd be. I know this is maybe weird to people, but it would be a bigger deal to me to have an original Adam West Batsuit than it would to have anything else.
Oh yeah.
But the Michael Keaton suit is up there, so I don't know. That would be cool too. And then just any really early original art.
I could see that. Yeah.
What would yours be?
I have no idea. I asked that
Yeah?
question hoping you could pull something out because
okay.
I was like, I don't know what I would want. I don't.
Well, and to be fair,
really know.
would it be fair to say that I am kind of a bigger Batman fan than you are?
Yeah, that's fair. Because you know what? I like all this. I like Batman. I like Batman a lot. I haven't read a lot of Batman except for some of these like major.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you what, I would like to have an original piece just for me by Tim Sale. That's what I would like. It doesn't have to be old. It doesn't have to be original. It just has to be an original piece. That's not just like some sketch that he did at a convention or something. It's like, here, there you go. But I would like to have an original piece by Tim Sale. There you go.
Vince, best Batman. I guess a lot of my stuff is screen. Best theme or soundtrack.
Oh, I'm gonna say 89.
Yeah,
It's
that's mine too.
It's classic. I mean, because that's the thing is that so many, like even Spider-Man stems out of that. It's like Danny Elfman said to himself, "I'm not gonna beat this. I'm just gonna echo it."
Yeah.
And
Although,
yeah.
I gotta tell you, there is something that diminished it slightly for me, and that was the Darkman soundtrack, because he wrote that first, and if you go back to Darkman, there's so much Batman in Darkman.
Oh yeah.
That he
hadn't even thought of that.
What it actually looks like he did was that he wrote the Batman soundtrack once, and then he perfected it when he actually did Batman. That's what it sounds like.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. I can't get us out of that.
Personally, I find it at this point hard to put one over the other between the '89 soundtrack and the Batman Begins soundtrack, but I find them impossible to compare. Like they're both Batman, but they're both such different Batmans. Like a lot of how I feel about those two projects, I could actually kind of sum up in the scores. They're just apples and oranges. You know what I mean? They're totally different things, which is part of what I love about Begins, was that it managed to do something so different from what we had already, and then didn't kill my love for '89 because it's just a different thing.
I think you have the both soundtracks, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
But I have '89 on vinyl.
That's true. It's hanging on your wall.
Yeah, it's hanging on my wall. Okay, do you have one more? One more.
I do. Actually, I think we have two more each.
Oh, do we? Did I skip one?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I skipped one.
Okay. Here's an incredibly similar question.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Cast yourself in a Batman movie.
Cast myself in a Batman
Villain or not?
Movie. You said something years ago that I've never been able to get out of my head, and we've talked about this before. But years ago, you cast me as campy Batman, and I would love to bulk up a little bit and be the excuse me, and be the rebooted Adam West. Like that's what I'd want to do. Not realistic, I'm too short, but like if I could, that's what I'd want to do. That would be fantastic. But yeah, we've already kind of talked a little bit about casting stuff. Obviously, villain wise, I think I could probably pull off the Riddler. And then I don't know about like supporting characters and stuff. I don't know.
Man.
We're both too old to play Robin now, so.
It'd be kind of hilarious to have like campy Batman, and then have like a big stocky Robin. Just, oh yeah, what's up, Batman? No, I'm your kid's sidekick.
I just want my own atomic pile. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe when we talk about Batman that with me it goes back to '60s so much, because I love that, but like I'm a huge fan of all the other stuff too, or of a lot of the other stuff too, But I guess like it'd be easier to cast yourself in voice roles.
Yeah, I would see that. I think I could do more voice roles. Like then I'd start casting myself as varying different characters that don't have to be like me. But I don't know. I'm just such a friendly looking guy.
Vince, what Two-Face items are you missing?
I'm missing the. Is that the next question?
Yes.
I'm missing the.
Vince, if you don't know, has an enormous Two-Face collection, and I'm curious about what else he really wants that he doesn't have, and I'm assuming that there's something out there that's just so expensive he's not bought it yet.
That's the thing is that some of those things start getting out of a price range because I'm like, man, for what it is, $70 is a lot for it. There's that, I forget what line it's in, but it's that black and white Two-Face, and it's 6-inch, and it has stripes on one side. I think that's what it is, and it's one of the newer figures. They released a 5-pack of, it was like Batman and Wonder Woman and Lex Luthor and Superman and Two-Face or something like that, and they did like a recoloring of it, but that's the style. So if you're like, hey, I know that 5-pack, but it's this black and white Two-Face. I don't have that guy. I don't have the alternate color of Two-Face that crap. I don't have any of the alternate color Two-Faces.
Are there not like statues and busts and things?
Oh god, yeah. There's loads of those things. I would love to have these Two-Face bookends that I found. One face on one side, one face on the other.
That was cool.
There was this really twisted looking green Two-Face bust, so green on the appropriate side, and that was
the side
really
you
neat.
like.
Yeah, the right side, but as opposed to the wrong side.
You mean right, not correct, Vince.
Yeah. The right side as opposed to the wrong side. But let's see here. I don't have the Japanese. It's like the Hot Toys figure, only it's a Japanese company that made it. I forget what it is. I don't have that one. I don't have the alternate suit that came out with that 13-inch DC Direct. I don't have that.
Oh, okay, so there's still some stuff.
Yeah, there's still stuff out there I don't have. Pretty much outside of that alternate suit, or of the 3 alternate figures, and then that other 12-inch, I think I pretty much have
considering
everything.
you were kind of getting everything Two-Face, but I know you weren't collecting like Two-Face in comics the way you do Punisher, but like considering you were getting kind of everything physical that was put out Two-Face wise, a lot of it's toys, but then there's like cups and glasses and things. I'm assuming that because maybe you don't know about this, I'm assuming that if you found the Halloween costume they put out a few years ago, you'd probably want that.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind having it. Here's the deal. I look around online and I see these like Two-Face items out there.
Yeah.
I do this exact same thing with Ghostbusters, and I go, that's really cool. And then I go, well, it doesn't fit the normal criteria unless it's ridiculously dadgum cheap.
What is the criteria?
The figures. That's what it is.
Okay.
Like,
so you get other things when you find them cheap, but you don't have to have all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotcha. Okay.
So there are things that I go, I want that, but I'm not going to buy it because it doesn't fit the criteria and it's not cheap enough for me to move on it right now.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what it is.
I thought with Two-Face you just weren't even, being very discerning. I thought it was just anything Two-Face.
Like if it's pretty much $5 or less, I'm probably going to pick it up.
Oh, okay.
But if it's anywhere north of like $30 or more, then I start questioning it. So,
well, one more
piece,
I think, is where we're at. Or have you asked?
Yeah, we'll have one more.
Go ahead.
This is a similar question to one I asked earlier, only this is purely fictional.
He's like, how much Batman stuff, Captain Logan, do you have left to buy?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so what piece of Batman equipment, not something that you could go to a fan store and buy Batman stuff, but
it's not like plutonium where you can get it at any corner drugstore.
or kryptonite for that matter. So
I have that in my basement. I mean, in my bathroom. In my basement. Sorry.
So Bruce Wayne has taken Captain Logan into his Batcave, and not Cap's Batcave, but Bruce Wayne's Batcave, and says,
his is like a smidge cooler than mine.
And says to him, "You can pick up any piece of equipment. I will give you the grand tour and show you anything, and you can take it home with you." Which one would you take home, assuming that it would be the most useful around your house?
Yeah, that's so tough. It seems like the obvious answer is utility belt.
Yeah, that's fair.
But only if I get the stuff in it. Like
he empties it out and hands you the utility
yeah, he's
belt.
like, here's the utility belt. I'm like, okay, well, so if I have to use my, I guess, like, duct tape goes here, Pez goes here, here's some sticky tack back here, and some string cheese. So that's Captain Logan, your Batman utility belt is super lame. And then I'm like, smoke bomb. So, but anyway, so yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the obvious thing. it's hard not to want a grappling hook gun.
That's what I was saying, but it's not useful around the house.
Yeah, not around the house.
Best case scenario, you can use to pick stuff up, and by picking it up, I mean smash it against a wall trying to grab
I guess a utility belt would be useful around the house, but you could just go out and buy a utility belt. Like, you don't need Batman's necessarily. But Vince, like, what does Batman have that would be useful around your house?
Well, if you go to the, I'm sure the 60s Batcave has a bunch of random crap. If he has bat shark repellent...
Oh, okay.
Surely he
has, we're talking about
like,
the 60s cave. Yeah, I was trying not to make every answer about the 60s show.
Yeah, sure,
I was trying... Yeah, but, okay, fine, Vince. The bat phone, because I don't have a landline. Be very useful.
Oh,
I'd have to install it. Like, have I told you about this, though?
I'd go to get the Batman supercomputer, personally.
I'm still playing... Well, see, I was taking your question too literally, and I was overthinking it. I thought that it was something that he was going to hand me and I could walk out with. It's like a supercomputer.
Anything. And you could take the Batmobile.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to say this, okay? In that case,
take the Batmobile.
No, I'm going to say, if we don't have to be practical about it, it's useful around the house for aesthetics. I want the dinosaur and the penny. That's...
You'd have to put those in your backyard.
That's what I want. It's like, I'm building an outdoor Batcave.
I love that answer. That's a perfect answer.
Yeah. But anyway, no, did I tell you that I'm still planning on putting a red bat phone down here? In my Batcave.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I really
That's
want,
cool.
And I want to hook it to a landline, and I want to give very, very few people the number to it. So it's like an emergency only phone. And I want it to and I want it to blink. Like I want it to glow red when it if anybody knows how to rig up something like this, feel free to let me know. This is something I really want to do because I think it would be hilarious.
So eventually, Obama's men find this letter that gives the number to the bat phone, and he's like, all right.
Yeah, he calls up Captain Logan. He's like, your country needs you. And then I'm all right. And then
go Captain Logan.
Yeah, so then I go out and I fight crime, and then somebody's like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Captain Logan. Then, yeah.
I'm Capman.
I'm Capman.
All right.
I want you to tell all your friends about me. Go to youtube.com/Geekvolution. Okay, Vince, last question for you.
Take a lozenge, Capman.
Keaton or Kilmer?
Keaton. I think Kilmer probably could have been a more traditional Batman.
Yeah.
But, did I say Kilmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kilmer could have been a little closer to what you tend to think of Bruce Wayne as, but Keaton I thought was such a ballsy choice.
Yeah.
And he was such an interesting guy. And I like the fact that I don't care that it kind of breaks the idea that, Bruce, he's kind of a recluse even though he throws these parties. He's kind of a stranger at his own party. He's kind of a blue-collar guy.
And he is absolutely the first person you'd think, you know what, that guy's probably Batman.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I thought he was interesting, because I even love that scene where he smashes the plate, or smashes the vase. Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
I think that's so weird and fun. So, yeah, Keaton.
He's so not in touch.
Yes. And, because that's the thing, is that people looked at him and was like, Beetlejuice? And I'm like, yeah, Beetlejuice, why not? But, of course, I was born in 85, so at the tail end of 85, so I was like 4 when that movie came out.
You didn't have opinions, probably, Vince.
Not really.
Yeah.
So at that point, I didn't have that answer. But in retrospect, looking at that, I'm like, that's such a cool idea. Considering we have so many versions of Batman, I love having that version.
You know what's really funny? We have already done, you and I together, a commentary on Batman 89. And I keep itching to do it again for some reason. I don't know why. It's just like every now and again, I'm like, you know what, we should do a commentary on 89. It's like, I've done it already. I don't care. I want to do it again.
Surely.
I haven't even finished the Nolan films yet. We still need to do Dark Knight and Rises, but I really want to go back to 89 right now. Anyway.
You and I did 89.
Yeah, and we did Begins.
Yeah.
And so you and I still want you and I to do Dark Knight if we can get around to it. And we can do Rises too.
I think Manos needs to do 89 with you.
Yeah?
Because I think he was really jazzed about it, but you were like, no, Vince has dibs.
Well, no, that's not what it was.
It
was like that with Dark Knight, but we haven't done it yet. It was it wasn't. Yeah, we just haven't done Dark Knight yet. No. The thing was, 89 was like the second thing we did. We did Daredevil,
Oh,
we still
yeah.
have another retro Scott. We said we'd do that 2 years ago or whenever it was we did it. But like then '89 I think was maybe the second thing we did. And no, Manos has done returns all the way up through Batman and Robin with me. So doing '89 with him would be interesting because he's done the other 3 movies.
Fan project.
That's a thing that could happen.
No Manos Land.
No Manos Land. Yeah. There might be a comic parody in there, Vince.
No
I am, and I know I'm inundated with so many projects that I'm just not getting it together right now because I don't have the time. But eventually, there's gonna be a
Heartache
Geekvolution.
tonight.
Would you stop that? This is important. There's going to be
I'm sorry.
there's going to be a Geekvolution Batman parody comic, and I'm not going to say anything more about what exactly it is, but it's hilarious and going to happen. So there could be a that could be a follow up. No Manos Land. I love everything about that.
So apparently we know
Well,
that
like-
it's not going to be No Man's Land parody.
Yeah. So no, it's not. But like no, I guess No Manos Land would be like this horrible place where like everything is messed up and nobody has any power or anything, and there's no order because Manos is gone.
Yeah,
is
Manos
that what it is?
Manos is the guy who controls Gotham City, and he's benevolent. He's kidnapped.
So he was like the benevolent dictator of Gotham City.
Yeah, he is like the head guy. Like, he's the mayor. He's awesome. He gets captured or whatever, and now everything just goes to pot because he's gone. And then in the end, we find out that it was him all the time. So.
Well, I guess Vince is going to co-write this with me.
Yep, I've already got it done. You guys go home. We'll figure it out.
No Manos Land. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. And Vince, this is kind of fun reminiscing about Batman with you for a little while. And everybody have fun doing some kind of Batman thing to celebrate 75th anniversary of Batman.
But be safe.
It's crazy that it's been around this long, right? I mean, I felt that way about Superman also. And obviously Batman came out a year after that, and it's kind of weird. Like when I was growing up, it didn't occur to me how old it was. I didn't think about that. And I mean, we're gonna see the 100th anniversary of these characters.
Yeah, I usually celebrate the anniversary of Dirt, and I make it a different day every year because I'm just not sure which day it started.
Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We sure appreciate it, and we will be back with you with another GNN as soon as we make one, probably next week. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince, reminding you to support your local Batman store.
Your local Batman. That should happen. I wonder if you could sustain something like that. I wonder if you could open up a Batman store, Vince.
Maybe. You'd have to sell like specialty products that could be like household daily use things
Yeah.
that are not too unaffordable. Unaffordable? Your mom.
Your mom's Facebook.
Your mom's Facebook is unaffordable.
Anyway, thanks for watching.
Cost
and
effective.
We'll see you next time.